Yep.
Good evening. I call this meeting of the Lakota Board of Education on Thursday, April 14th, 2022 to order. Thank you all for being here tonight. Jenny, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Here.
Mrs. Bodie,
Here.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Here.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Here. Board will move to item A on the agenda. Is there a motion to enter into executive session to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee or official?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Do I have a second? Thank you. Isaac? Mrs. Hogan, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. We will adjourn downstairs and have you all stay in place, and we'll be back shortly. You need to turn your mic back on. I'd like to call our board meeting back into order. We'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Mrs. Schaefer, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
I'll take Mrs. Casper and Mrs. Schaefer. Mrs. Logan?
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. We'll move to opening items, board president comments. As we begin, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone that this is a formal business meeting of the Board of Education. We're making decisions and we're conducting important business that impacts 17,000 students. And it's expected that all attendees here at the front of the room and our members of the audience will behave appropriately in this setting. This includes speaking respectfully and refraining from clapping and cheering, unless, of course, it's in recognition of our students or our staff. We welcome public attendance, both in person and online. It's imperative, though, that we actively listen to all sides of any given issue without distractions. It's the only way that we can make good decisions that support all of our students. And I appreciate everyone's cooperation on this matter. And finally, we're well aware that there's been a great deal of public attention to conflicts amongst the board and the administration. It's the board's continued position that all should work according to the code of ethics within our bylaws, and that all parties should be respectful to each other. We're working together to address issues and concerns so that we can operate as a cohesive and a productive group. We hear the concerns of the community, and we assure you that we are acting accordingly to address them. And finally, board, on a note to all of us, many of you have said to me recently that we've been having some very long meetings, so we're going to do our best tonight to stick to our agenda and move our business along efficiently. All right?
Works.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to superintendent comments. Before I turn the floor over to you, Mr. Miller, I'm going to take just a moment to speak about you, Mr. Miller.
Remember,
This
you said
week-
you were going to be efficient.
This is very efficient,
being
I
efficient.
promise. This is for the good of the cause. This week, our superintendent was named the 2022 Empower Ed Digital Superintendent of the Year by COSA. That's okay, applause. So let me finish. By COSIGN, which is an association of K through 12 educational technology leaders, and AASA, which is a National School Superintendent Association. Mr. Miller received this honor in recognition of his efforts to ensure that all students are engaged learners. Since coming to Lakota in just 2017, 5 years ago, Mr. Miller has proven that he listens to families and to our staff, and that he always puts our students first. His approach to education is innovative, and he's always looking for ways to improve and to increase opportunities for our students. When Mr. Miller became part of our team, we knew that he would take Lakota to the next level. And indeed, he continues to do just that. Let's watch for a minute.
Matt's strong commitment to innovation, student, staff, and community voice, professional development, and clear visioning have truly been transformative here at Lakota.
My favorite thing about Matt in this district is that he has broken down the classroom walls. He has allowed teachers and students to explore their learning however it meets their needs.
Our virtual learning option actually would not have been possible without Matt being a true champion for our students and understanding that our students all have different needs.
So Matt arrived here and had listening sessions with everybody in the community, all of our schools, many of the community members. Things he heard over and over again were that we needed better technology and we needed to be one-to-one if at all possible.
Especially now, we probably don't talk enough about what's right in education, particularly in public schools. There are thousands of things going on at Lakota schools every single day in our classrooms that our kids are excelling, they're building, and they're creating.
The Lakota Cyber Academy was created 3 years ago, and it was the brainchild of Matt Miller and had the vision to make the Lakota Cyber Academy sort of a flagship program that we've got in school here.
Technology has been more important than ever, but everything still comes back to the relationships that our teachers have with our kids and the relationships that superintendents have with each other and organizations like COSIN that help get the best out of us so we can serve our communities the best way we can.
On a personal note, as a CTO, I'm thankful for Matt's involvement in COSIN and especially his support, respect, and dedication to our strong technology team and vision. Very few understand today's K-12 technology landscape, but Matt gets it, and for that, I'm truly grateful.
One great thing about Matt Miller is that he's very present in our district. I've seen him many times at my own school building, and I see him at many district events. I see him on Twitter all the time. So he really has a presence and makes the teachers and students feel like he's definitely a part of our district.
Students have benefited because they have a person as a superintendent who is completely and entirely about them.
We need to give credit to our public schools and everything that they've done for our kids and for our communities during this time of crisis. But now we're starting to turn the page on the pandemic, and we need to talk about what comes next and how do we keep fueling this innovative spirit for what comes down the road.
So I think that Matt being here has provided this environment where the options are endless, where we're able to dream up something and the structures are in place to allow it to happen.
When we think of true leaders, we think about people who make us better, people who push the envelope, people who innovate, and people who lead with conviction. Matt is that person. He makes his colleagues, the organization in which he serves, and his community a better place. Congratulations, Matt.
Please join me in congratulating our superintendent.
Well, that was unexpected. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate that. It was very nice. And in all sincerity, this award says more about Lakota than it does me, and about our kids, about our teaching staff, and our Board of Education. I appreciate the support because you let me run with the things that we do for our kids and for our community. So I know that goes both ways. So I appreciate that, and proud of being here and proud of our kids. And I'm happy to accept that award on behalf of Lakota schools. So thank you.
Thank you, Bennett. Do you have other comments?
No, I'm good.
All right, so we'll move on our agenda to treasurer's comments, but before we move to treasurer comments, Mrs. Logan, I'm going to speak about you as well for just a moment. Last Friday, Mrs. Logan was presented with the Ohio Auditor of the State Award of Distinction for the 8th year in a row. The state auditor noted that this award is given to only 3.6% out of the 480 entities that are audited by the state auditor's department. Our treasurer and her department have achieved this for 8 years in a row, as well as a 10 years balanced budget, a whole decade. Mrs. Logan came on our board 11 years ago to our district during an incredibly challenging time that many of those who've lived here for a while will remember. Other districts that had reached the financial state Lakota was in didn't fare as well as Lakota did. And she worked to rebuild trust with our community, to make students the priority in financial planning, and to make sure that the district was on the right path moving forward. She has far exceeded the expectations that the board set for her over her tenure in the district. Let's watch.
Top award we give out in the state auditor's office. But to tell you how special it is, less than 3.6% of the 4,800 entities that we audit every single year get this award. So when you say you're in the top, you're not in the top 5%, you're not in the top 4%, you're literally in the cream of the cream. And to have gotten this now for 8 years running is really a very, very impressive feat. We do find that once people figure out how to get it, they tend to get it year after year because they have gotten the rest of the team on board. Good books and records is a team sport. It is. And it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen just because the treasurer works on it. It happens because you have a good staff, but you have a good team for the rest of the staff and administration. And so I just want to congratulate you on this feat and say, well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is a really, really high bar for whoever comes after. And I want to say that it is going to take the team to continue to do the work to produce the results. And you've had leadership, you've had guidance. And so I'm here to recognize that leadership and guidance. For your over 25 years in serving the district, it is no small task for us to recognize that and to celebrate you as one of Ohio's finest public servants. Wow. So on behalf of
Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Logan. Treasurer's comments, Mrs. Logan?
Thank you isn't enough. I appreciate it. You know, I'm like Matt. I never like it when the spotlight is on me. It should be on the team and the tremendous efforts that are made by every single person who works for this district every day, not just me, but on behalf of the district, I'm honored to accept that award. So thank you.
Clearly, neither of them expected that, so that was kind of fun to do. So thank you both for your excellent work. Betsy, we'll move to student spotlights.
Good evening. We're going to continue the celebrations. So students from both Lakota East and West High Schools competed at the state HOSA competition on March 24th. HOSA, which stands for Health Occupation Students of America, was founded in 1976 and is now an international organization that supports junior and high school students who are interested in pursuing careers in the health industry. The student-led organization has grown to more than 260,000 members and 54 associations. Lakota students are enrolled in the medical pathway classes offered through the district's partnership with Butler Tech. The top 3 teams at the state level in each category will compete at the International HOSA Conference this summer. Tonight, we have some of our state champions with us to share a little bit about themselves and their competitions. So I'm going to introduce you guys, but then they'll all come up and share. Gracie West, Carter Wilbrand, Quinn Lawfrey, Bella Gallo, and Maddie Saylor won the Anna Tamaj tournament. Chloe Keim and Emily Fuller won the emergency medical technician category. Avni Patel, Karina Aslanian, Abby Brugard, and Kelsey Rutch won the public service announcement. Nair Jean-Marie won at the healthcare issues competition, and Ananya Gold was named the outstanding senior of the entire competition. So please welcome.
Hello, I'm Nairi Jamri, a senior at Lakota West, and I placed first taking the healthcare issues exam at the State Leadership Conference, which highlights and tests the comprehension of current healthcare issues. Why I joined HOSA is because it was a chance for me to bond with kids that have similar interests as I do and be able to create projects and study things that I'm passionate about. My favorite classes would include the Butler Tech Biomed track, which introduced me to HOSA and is the reason I'm here today. And junior year, I took a CCP anatomy class, which tailored my needs and helped me grow and learn things that I loved learning about. What I got out of my experiences was participating in leadership workshops that taught me how to become a better leader and have engaging conversations about what leadership is, create friendships and memories that I'll have forever, and have opportunities to talk to and meet some amazing people in the medical field. As far as my future, I'll be attending the University of Cincinnati, majoring in biochemistry in the pre-medical track, in hopes of becoming an obstetrician gynecologist.
My name's Emily Fuller. I go to Lakota East. My partner Chloe and I won first place for EMT. I joined HOSA just because I thought that it would be something fun. I heard about it at the beginning of freshman year and just figured, why not give it a go? It was really, really interesting being able to be with all these different people at this competition where we all want to go in the same direction. My favorite classes at Lakota East are my human body systems class, as well as chemistry. In the future, I hope to become a labor and delivery nurse, and I'm just very grateful for this whole experience.
Hi, my name is Ananya Goel, and I am a senior at Lakota West High School. I was named an outstanding senior at Ohio HOSA this year, which was truly an honor. I've been in HOSA for 3 years, and it's just been a very important part of my high school career and life. And I'm very grateful for the experience that Butler Tech and Lakota have offered with going to HOSA. And yeah, I just want to thank you.
My name's Gracie West. My name's Bella Gallo, and we're representing our anatomage team. We've been in HOSA for 3 years now, and the reason we joined is because we're both interested about the healthcare and we want to pursue that in the future.
So the event that we competed in is called anatomage. It's pretty much a big iPad the size of one of these tables over here. And our task was given in a certain amount of time. We have anatomical structures that we are given that we are supposed to know. And you compete over 8 rounds, and we happen to get first place. So
I will be attending the University of Cincinnati with a major in health sciences on a pre-med track and a possible minor in Spanish.
I will be going to Walsh University to become a nurse, and I will also be playing soccer there as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Avni Patel.
I'm Abby Burkhardt.
I'm Karina Aslanyan.
And I'm Kelsey Rich. The 4 of us are juniors at Lakota East High School. Last March, we competed together in public service announcement, and we were fortunate enough to win first at state. In public service announcement, we create a 30-second video documenting, this year the theme was documenting the importance of donating bone marrow. So that's oftentimes important for people who have leukemia or aplastic anemia, among other diseases. So we create our video, we write the script, we star in it, we film it, and then we present a speech to the judges, further explaining the importance of bone marrow and all of the different things that we learned throughout our research and production of the video. We are all so grateful for the experience to be in HOSA. It has truly provided an amazing platform for us to further figure out where our place is in the medical field. After my work with HOSA, I am now interested in becoming a veterinary scientist and possibly going into surgery.
I'm hoping to possibly go to medical school and become a physician of some sort, maybe dermatology or something else, and hopefully playing college soccer.
My AP psychology class last year has led me to believe that I will become a neurologist, and it also allowed me to think about how there are so many things about the human brain that haven't yet been discovered, and I hope to discover those things as well.
And I would like to become a physician's assistant. And I also would like to recognize Avni because she was just elected as the Ohio HOSA state president.
Wow.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with all of you here today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any of us. Thank you so much.
So if you four will stay, you guys thought you got off easy, but come back up. And we'll let the board make their comments and questions. Mrs. Bodie, would you like to start?
Well, yes, I'm just really encouraged with your guys' experience. And I think this is great that you are getting started now and building on your future career. And I really like that we have a program, HOSA, to help our children and our students who know what direction they want to head at a freshman level and help create that path for them. So good job, guys.
Mr. D.
When I see this, I get emotional. This is the reason why I'm sitting here. I love it when I hear of achievements. This is what we all want. And thank you for what you do. We're very, very proud. Thank you.
Mrs. Schaefer.
Would anyone like to share any specific skills that they feel like they've learned through this process that will help them in their future endeavors? Maybe not.
For me, I've been like really nervous like all my life to present and stuff like that. And my event this year has really helped me to be able to perform under pressure a lot better. I'm really, really thankful for HOSA for helping me to learn that, which is like really valuable for the rest of my life.
So for mine, it was kind of a surprise about what situation would be. So this whole process has really helped me about thinking on my feet, which I'm not really that good at. So hopefully this process has given me skills that I'll use later in life.
And you're better at it than you thought, perhaps.
Hopefully.
Anyone else want to answer that question?
Yeah, I think similar to a lot of my fellow peers have shared, HOSA, they're not only teaching us things that we can learn on the page, things that we can learn in books, but they're also teaching us valuable experiences about these soft skills. And I think it's sort of a disservice that we call them soft skills because we use these skills throughout life, whether it's public speaking, teamwork, critical thinking, presenting. They're some of the most important skills that I've helped hone in through HOSA. And I'm really excited that I can use them throughout my career and for the rest of my life.
Would you call them life skills?
And the public speaking really worked.
Mrs. Casper.
Congratulations. And we're super, super proud of all of you. And you all won at the state level. Is there a national competition that you go on to? Can someone tell me about that?
We'll all be competing in ILC, which is the international competition in Nashville, Tennessee at the end of June.
Okay, great. Well, good luck. We expect to hear that you won that as well.
We like repeat visits. Repeat visits are good for student achievement. Mr. Miller?
Just really quick, congratulations. Very proud of all of you. Could one of you give like a 30-second shout out to your advisors or teachers that helped you get to this point and go to the next step?
Okay, I got you.
Pretty good at delegating too.
So for everyone who goes to Lakota East, our advisors are either Mr. Williams or Coach Drew. So I personally have Mr. Williams in class. He's my teacher and he's also my HOSA advisor. He has been an incredible resource throughout our competitions with HOSA and for also helping to push me to serve on the executive council for Ohio HOSA State Board. So now this is my second year serving and this year I'll be serving as president. And I really do thank him and I really appreciate all that he's done for me to help, figure out that this is such an important organization and having his help, having his support truly means the world to myself. And I think for all the rest of us who have him in class.
Thank you. Mrs. Logan?
So I'm from West and our advisor is Miss Nikki. She's actually sitting in the crowd right there. So I've had the opportunity to get to know Miss Nikki for 3 years now through HOSA and through our medical classrooms. And so the one thing that she really helped me was figure out what I want to do in the future and where I want to go, and kind of like having the experience of HOSA and in her classrooms has allowed me to gain the confidence in those situations and know that I can go all the way to medical school or whatever I want to be or do.
That's terrific.
Sorry, I just wanted to also give a shout out to Mr. Prohaska. He is also an advisor at Lakota West. And I will just say he is a very incredible advisor. And I've had the opportunity to work with him just over the course of this year to help us prepare for HOSA. And yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Just congratulations. And I know the leadership abilities that you have all learned, the teamwork skills, problem solving, it will serve you the rest of your life. And not every school district encourages or supports students in this way to compete. And I'm proud to be working in a district like this that supports students and encourages them in this way. So job well done. Thank you.
I am, they come to the last person and it's all been said, but I want to say that what I see you doing and what happens at any of our student organizations like this is it's real life learning. And it's so neat to see you ready to go out the door and start to put those to work. Could I ask any of our teachers that are involved with our kids here and our principals if they're here to stand so that we can recognize you, please? All right, we're going to go for a big picture in the middle of the room, and perhaps you would join us as well for the picture.
Certainly, perhaps. Okay.
Well, that's smart.
We'll give just a second. We do have several seats up front. If people sitting on the floor in the back would like to come forward, you're welcome to do so. Student spotlight is always just one of the best, isn't it? I love that. All right, we move to the next section on our agenda, which is public comment. We have a list for those who have signed up. We ask that you state your name as you come forward. Please try to confine your remarks to 3 minutes. And our first up is Mrs. Yasmin Brown. Following her will be Dr. Vanessa Enoch. To state your name, you will not need to state your address.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good evening to everyone. My name is Yasmin Brown Jones. I won't tell you where I live, but I did move from Westchester to Liberty Township just recently in an attempt to downsize after my kids graduated. I've lived in the district now for over 15 years and very excited to still be a part of it. Wanted to say congratulations again to you, Mr. Matt Miller, for being selected the 2022 Empowered Digital Specialist Superintendent of the Year. I thank you, and we all do, for preparing our kids for the future. My husband and I have been involved in every level of Lakota, from PTO president at every level, elementary, junior high, and high school, to coaching almost every sport, coaching and supporting basketball, football, track, lacrosse, soccer, swimming, and then theater. We built relationships in the district that go way beyond the schools. We found extended family and connections made on the east and the west side of Lakota. So I consider myself lucky, but mostly blessed, to have found a school district that has supported us and our kids. My kids now young Black men who were minorities in Lakota and in every place we've lived. We consider our kids quite successful, going on from Lakota to play collegiate sports, participate in collegiate performances, and even making an appearance on the big screen recently. I share all of this with you because of how I feel about the school district, about this community, which may not be perfect, but it's perfect for me and my family. Mr. Miller, you must be one of the strongest men I know to sit through meetings being disrespected and ridiculed for simply trying to do your job. The job of supporting all kids in this district and ensuring that every diverse type of student has the same opportunity to achieve. To the board, I thank you. I thank those of you especially who have worked for the many years, or as many years as I have, because I know most of you by face, to make this school district second to none. As a board, I hope that you don't continue with the disruptions that comes from some of your members. There is a way to seek for understanding. And one of those is to educate yourself prior to the meetings. So don't try to monopolize time and energy of people who are trying to do real work in this district.
Mrs. Brown, could you wrap up, please?
My kids have graduated and moved on, but I stand here tonight because I still support a district that I truly believe in. I continue supporting the work of the district to create great schools, great community, and great humans. Finally, although Lakota does not teach critical race theory, I do thank you for the diverse academic curriculum used to educate our students, which has allowed not only my children, but so many others to excel. I thank you for your support.
Thank you. Folks, we finished student and staff achievements, so let's just keep it moving if we could without the applause or cheering. Dr. Enoch is up. Dr. Cynthia Pinchback Hines will be up next. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good evening, members of the board, and good evening, Mr. Matt Miller. Thank you so much for being and doing all that you've done for the children of Lakota schools. My daughters also love you dearly. Again, my name is Dr. Vanessa Enoch, and I'm a 17-year resident and a business owner in Butler County. I'm also Ohio born and raised. All of my formal education has been in Ohio. I hold a bachelor's degree from The Ohio State University, a master's degree in business administration with a concentration in information systems from Xavier University, and I hold a doctorate degree in public policy from Union Institute University, also Ohio-based. I'm also a candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives in this district. I've lived outside of Ohio, and I've lived outside of this country. And ultimately, I chose to settle back here at home, close to my family and friends, because I love Ohio, and I love the United States of America. I also have loved and enjoyed living in Lakota school districts for the past 17 years. I care about our children's future. What I didn't mention was that I'm also a mother who raised two daughters in this school district. My oldest daughter was one of the baccalaureate speakers and graduation speakers at Lakota West. When my children graduated from high school here in Lakota, both of them chose to attend historically Black colleges and universities. My youngest daughter now attends Southern University in Baton Rouge. My oldest daughter graduated from the prestigious Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. And when she finished college, she chose to relocate to Connecticut, then Maryland, and now she works for Google based in Silicon Valley. This year, Google gave their employees a choice about where they wanted to live. My daughter didn't choose to come back home. She chose to relocate and build a home in Atlanta, Georgia. That saddens me. In fact, Google relocated 14,000 employees in cities where Google staff relocated. Google also invested $9.5 billion to open new offices in those cities. Most of that money went to progressive cities like Atlanta, Austin, and New York. About 92% of Ohio's counties saw a decrease in population in 2021. The majority of them were young people. As a result of our population decline, we lost a congressional seat and vital tax dollars that are needed to rebuild our aging infrastructure, our roads, bridges, and sewer systems.
Dr. Anna, I'll have to ask you to wrap up, please.
We also lost the opportunity to attract big companies which seek out young, creative, and innovative minds. Make no mistake about it, our children, your children, and mine want to live in progressive cities that respect cultural diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to encourage this body to keep that in mind as you make policies. Thank you.
Please don't call our board members by name. Thank you for your statement, though.
I apologize. I did not call any board members' names. In fact, I don't know any of the board members' names.
This body, I'm sorry.
I said
I
this
misunderstood
body.
you.
I want to encourage this body to keep that in mind and keep the backgrounds of all of the children of Lakota districts in mind as you form policies. Thank you.
And I apologize for my hearing. Folks, I'm going to have to ask that we try to stick with our 3-minute time limit. It's not fair to other speakers if we don't. Dr. Cynthia Pinchback-Hines and Mrs. Greenler is up next.
All right.
Ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Cynthia Pinchback-Hines. I'm a resident of Westchester, Ohio for 31 years. I had 2 children who have matriculated here, and that's it. I'm going to go right into my comments. The state of Mississippi, where 38% of its citizens are African American, recently signed into law the Anti-Critical Race Theory Bill. Any school that violates the bill stands to lose state funding. I would like to read a response to Mississippi's State Bill 2113, where Jacqueline Phillips writes, "When the government seeks to silence a viewpoint it disagrees with, we should all be concerned. Banning books written by African American authors is not related to critical race theory. CRT is a theory of discussion. How is listing books written by African Americans not a violation of the First Amendment to the United States Constitution? The US Supreme Court has ruled that burning the flag is free speech. Local school boards and state legislatures and governors targeting African American history violate the constitutional right to free speech. Deciding whose history gets erased from the factual account of history is discriminatory and has a discriminatory intent, if not bigoted and racist in its application. CRT is a theory. History is based on facts. Seeking to ban CRT from being taught in pre-K through 12th grades may serve some educational purpose, I suppose. Coincidentally, the Department of Education confirmed CRT is not taught in the school system. Using CRT as a justification for banning certain literature walks a fine line of constitutional question. Now, that's the end of the quote. Now, attempts to rid Lakota schools of CRT is nothing more than a national strategy to erase the voices of the marginalized and historically disenfranchised communities. Erasing the history of a particular group is but a few steps from genocide, in my opinion. I love this country as much as the next person, but I despise the divisive measures that are being used to tear down our democracy. It's one thing to deny truth, but it's another to continue perpetuating lies and stoking unwarranted fears. How does denying our children knowledge and the truth help them? If you believe that knowledge is power, then removing all things related to race and diversity is definitely counterintuitive. At the last meeting, I heard several comments made about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's the same, we only remember a few things from him. Well, one of my favorite quotes from him, other than, you know, the content, what is it, where he says, yeah, judge a person by not the color of the skin, but the
Dr.
content of
Hines,
character.
I need to ask you to wrap up, please.
Okay, I will wrap up. I implore you to recognize the importance of supporting culturally relevant teaching so that our children, regardless of their heritage, can see and hear themselves represented. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Greenler is up next. Please. Go ahead, Mrs. Greenler.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Penny Greenler. I'm speaking in reference to the board policies that board members swore to uphold. First, I want to thank Superintendent Miller for his strength of character and professionalism while under personal attack by some board members. The Board of Education believes that quality public education and good board service should be conducted in an ethical manner with traditional principles such as honesty, trust, fairness, and integrity. Some board members have repeatedly stated or insinuated that they don't trust the superintendent with no just reason. Where is the principle of trust that they swore to uphold? Each member is expected to remember that the first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of all students attending public schools. Some board members support Bill 290, which defunds public schools. Why become a board member of a public school if you don't believe in educational welfare of all students attending public schools? Promoting a bill that funds homeschoolers and religious schools and private schools equally with public schools under the guise of freedom of choice for parents is deceitful and against the Ohio Constitution, which you swore to uphold. The real purpose is to dismantle public education. You are a puppet of a political group, not a school board member with integrity. School board members agreed to delegate authority for the administration of the schools to the superintendent and staff. And yet repeatedly, school board members claim that our award-winning superintendent, who has been hired by the board to administer Lakota schools, is suddenly incapable and that they should be able to pop into classrooms to see what is really going on. You are not the superintendent, not nearly as qualified, not nearly as skilled, and you only have one dishonest purpose in mind. Members render all decisions based on the available facts rather than the influence of special interest groups. They do neither. Your time-wasting speeches are merely dog whistles for well-funded groups who are aiming at overturning elections, not educating America's children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Greenler. Just briefly to summarize, Mrs. Yasmin Brown Jones, congratulations to Mr. Miller. Talked about how well her kids had done and how Lakota had benefited her family. And I think I pulled the most important line out about seeking understanding. Dr. Enoch, I apologize again for misunderstanding what you were saying. My hearing didn't pick up on it well. Talked about her love for Ohio and her concern that young people are not coming back to our state. Dr. Cynthia Pinchback Hines talked about a state bill in Mississippi, talked about the need to make sure that we don't erase the voices of the marginalized. Thank you for those comments. Mrs. Greenler talked about the importance of the principles of trust, integrity, and honesty in how we interact and the need to support public schools. Thank you all for your public comments. The board very much appreciates hearing from you. Mr. Miller, anything?
No, thank you. I think you covered everything, Mrs. O'Connor.
I have a response.
We're going to move along and stick on our agenda. So we're going to move to the next 8 board updates, and we're going to move to Butler Tech. Mrs. Schaefer.
You'll be glad to know that I have not had a Butler Tech meeting since our last meeting, so I won't drone on like I did last time. But we did have a visit at Butler Tech for our new board members, and that hadn't been offered previously. So that's a new service. So Mrs. Casper joined as well. And Mrs. Bodie came as well. And I decided to go because I wasn't sure if Isaac was coming. And I thought if I had 3 board members, I should be there listening to what they heard as well. And I think that they saw in action Butler Tech's mission of pursuing their passion, finding their purpose, and making an impact. We had a Monroe board member who's a graphic designer by trade and was so impressed by all the students. And I think actually 2 people could have gone back and spent the day with the students if they would have let them. They were talking about how to dress up and pretend they were kids and go back. We watched the Education Revolution video trailer, which I believe I've shown here before, probably a year or 2 ago. It's very worthwhile and to watch. You can watch the whole Education Revolution video on Butler Tech's website. One of the statistics that was shared was that Butler Tech serves 2/3 of all 7th to 12th graders during their time going through all 11 associate schools, because Butler Tech pulls kids from all of the 11 districts. So it's great that career tech is just embedded in our day-to-day life. It's not just for the students who are at Butler Tech, but it's for the students who are in our programs. We also talked about sometimes kids don't realize how important math is, but in all their programs that they're using, we talked about it from the gun range to the advanced manufacturing facilities. It's all applied mathematics. They talked about how they are plan protectors, that every student needs a plan and they are there to protect each of those individualized students' plans to make sure they achieve their goals. And I think that's what we're all about in educating kids today, is making sure each student's goals are met. And I think that's all I have. I don't know if there's anything either of you would like to add from that visit. Well, I really enjoyed touring Butler Tech, and I believe that they truly have the interest of the children. Am I saying that right? Truly have the interest of the children in mind. And it was just great to see the passion from John and Marnie, I can't remember her name. Marnie, and even the children. I remember there was one child specifically that she said, basically she had found her tribe, and her group was like the most connected group. And it's great to hear that, you know, a child is really enjoying their education. So I'm really thankful for Butler Tech.
Yeah, it was a great visit. It was nice to walk the halls. We did a lot of steps, took a lot of steps, went to 3 or 4 buildings. So it was really nice to see how interactive the kids are with each other. That was impressive to me too. They're a family, and they said that in some of the classes. And it was nice to hear Butler Tech talk about, you know, we have teachers, Butler Tech teachers in our buildings teaching some of these classes. And it was nice to hear how much they enjoy interacting with all of their associate schools. So it was a really nice tour.
So Nikki Drew, who's a Lakota teacher, I'm sorry, Isaac, at East, she was doing a live simulation simultaneously to when we were there. So even some of the things we were seeing in those buildings got featured on Butler Tech's website the same day in our own buildings. Sorry, go ahead, Isaac.
I've been longing to go to pay a visit as well. I don't know whether I missed the email or text, but I know because my schedules are sometimes too tight. Maybe you decided not to bother me, but please don't.
No. Melissa sent you a few emails.
Yeah, so I apologize for that. But please, next time, if you didn't hear from me, just maybe send me a text. I will look at my schedule to see if I can make it.
There'll be other opportunities too.
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback, and I look forward to doing that next time. Thank you.
Very good. Anything else, Mrs. Schaefer? No. All right, we'll move to policy committee. I know you're standing in for the assistant superintendent tonight.
I am. Thank you, Mrs. O'Connor. I'm standing in for Mr. Vogelman. I have the rundown of the second read. They're the same as the first, because according to Mr. Vogelman, there were no concerns or issues brought to him via email or in person, and nothing came to me as well. So I don't have anything additional to add, and I'll be glad to answer any questions if anybody has any.
So board, are there any questions on the second read policies on the agenda for tonight? Very good. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
You're welcome.
Move to C, Legislative Superintendent and Treasurer. Mrs. Logan, Mr. Miller.
I just returned from a conference and we had a very extensive legislative update, but I just want to highlight a few things. So House Bill 126, which is a property value contest, really limits governmental entities' abilities to do that. And it has been passed by the House and Senate, and it is waiting for the governor's signature. But basically, it still allows a school board to do this, but it puts some thresholds in place that would be a $500,000. The sales price would need to be $500,000 plus 10% more in order for you to even consider it. And you would need to pass a resolution for each parcel. So those are some changes. House Bill 583 would extend the flexibility for substitute teachers, which we have enjoyed those flexible parts that have allowed us to hire some subs that we were not able to before they extended that flexibility or they gave us that flexibility. This bill would extend that flexibility through June of 2024. So hopefully that will keep moving along. House Bill 601 would increase an employer's contribution to STRS and SERS by 5 or 4% more over an 8-year period of time. Yeah, so that one would definitely impact the cost to the district. So we'll be watching that. And then the last one I want to mention is House Bill 582, which I think some of you were asked how you felt about that one. It would reduce the school board members' terms from 4 years down to 2 years. So those are just some highlights.
The only other thing that I had is, I know there's been some conversation about this at the state level, and certainly probably on a national level, but OHSAA had their diversity and inclusion workshop this past weekend. There was conversation about a vote or whether there's going to be a vote in terms of some students. There's no vote coming up or policy change coming up anytime soon. So I did want to point that out. I know Mr. Card went to the workshop. I think Mrs. Bodie, you were there as well. And so there's no vote or anything changing on that front right now. If anything would change at a local level, we just run that through policy.
Is it possible, Mrs. Bodie, and if you would ask Mr. Card to get a written report back?
Yes.
I think that'd be helpful.
Sure, I can do that.
Would you mind doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, I do have something, but I can discuss that in the new business.
We might wait and talk about it at the next meeting and,
No, I prefer to say this here.
all right.
The only other legislative piece that I had, Mrs. O'Connor, is I met with Lieutenant Governor Husted today. That falls under legislative, I guess. He was here, if you remember, 3 years ago when we kicked off our cyber program, that he was here for that. And Mr. Coney, Mr. Wheatley, and I met with him today to kind of give him a recap on it. There's a really good conversation about cyber in Ohio, and then speaking to Intel coming to Columbus and what that means for the whole state, not just Greater Columbus. So I'm sure there'll be more conversation about that later.
Thank you. Did you
Sure.
have something, Mr. D?
Yeah, I want to, would you be able to let the team that were in that meeting come and give us a report, maybe by next meeting?
Sure, I can do that. I can ask.
So we need a comprehensive report as the requirements and every detail in it so that we can have some.
Sure.
What's going on with that?
I mean, the OHA summit.
Say that one more time.
I mean, the OHA summit, I need detailed report on that. If the team can.
We can
do
put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Board, anybody want to weigh in on how they feel about going from a 4-year term to a 2-year term?
We would constantly be running an election.
It would be.
It would be awful. You would have no, in my opinion, there would be no continuity. It would be hard to get anything done if you were changing seats every 2 years.
It would be tough.
I shared with Mrs. Gross when she asked for feedback that right now our
superintendent and treasurer are already dealing with a new budget every 2 years, and to potentially have 100% new board every 2 years versus just half the board switching every 2 years, approximately, I thought would be a challenge.
It'd be tough. It would be.
Yeah, I also feel that it takes about 2 years to really truly learn the role, and then to recycle or refill those spots 2 years later, I think it's counterproductive.
Yeah, I think you're right. We'll move to community engagement. Kelly, would you like to go first?
We haven't had any community conversations since our last meeting. The only community engagement thing that we've had DPC and President's Council, and you can speak to President's Council because I was unable to make it today because I had a work meeting. But the one thing I do want to say is that April 27th is our Barbazoo Volunteer of the Year Award. So it's at East this year at 9:30. And we will honor volunteers from all 23 schools as well as a district winner. So anybody is welcome. It's really a neat thing to see. You get a chance to see all the volunteers and all of the things that they have done throughout the year for all the different buildings. And it's kind of nice to recognize them all.
Did we miss that last 2 years for in person?
We
did
missed it.
virtual.
It was virtual last year.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
I don't think we did it the year before.
Right.
It would have been just as we were closing down. So I don't
Right.
think we did
We
it in
did not do
2020.
it. We didn't do it in
But
2020.
it's definitely better in person than it is in Zoom. So
100 times.
our
much,
district
much
could
better.
not do what it does without our volunteer corps across the district. It's amazing the number of hours, investment of time. I would just like to say for community engagement that we're working right now on our plan for our facilities plan and how we'll be able to get that word out to our community and let you have a chance to weigh in. We've narrowed down the options. Have spent a lot of time working on that as a board and narrowed down options. And you will be hearing about a show coming somewhere near you, and we hope that you'll turn people out, bring your neighbor, whether they have kids in school or not. We're all invested in our public schools, and your opinion matters to us. So please bring them with you when you hear about those. Anything else, Mrs. Casper?
I think no, that's it.
All right. We'll move to administrative reports. Superintendent's update, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Connor. I'm going to ask Mr. Coney to come up to the podium. He's going to address the latest curriculum audit that we had from the Hamilton County ESC, and then I will take back over as we talk about the upcoming curriculum audit as well. Sort of the timeline for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I did want to give a quick update on the curriculum audit that was just completed. A little bit of context for that. So this is sort of a regular routine for the curriculum team. When we see areas of need or areas of concern, we will from time to time dig into that specific area. This one was started last summer. It was in relation to 7th through 10th grade English and math. There were some changes in staffing. There were some changes in assessments, and we thought it was good to kind of dig into that. And so the process for that was really looking at like standards alignment, resource alignment, lots of teacher feedback, questioning with teachers. Do you have the resources you need? Do you feel supported? All those sorts of things. And we just received that report back this week. So we're going through the process of analyzing that. At first look, it is very positive, gives us a lot of good work to be able to do with our teachers, long professional development, aligning some things that we knew that we had to adjust. We have not come back to that in the last few years. So that will guide a lot of our work coming into the summer and into next year in grades 7 through 10, English and math. Those are also important tested areas as you lead up to the ACT and those kind of things. So that was very important. I feel like that is different than a curriculum audit that has been discussed by the board. And I think that as we move forward, usually the process that happens is that we identify goals and we take those goals and create a request for proposals from those and a process. And then our team's responsibility is to manage that and find the right people to do that work, guide that work, and bring back results to the executive team and to the board. The challenge with that is that I believe that the questions and the concerns that have been raised are a little different than they're certainly different from what drove the most recent audit from the Hamilton County Educational Service Center, but I think they might be unique. I don't know that our team is clear exactly on what those goals are. And I think it'd be important for us to get some of that clarity because that's the first question that any vendor or any consultant or any objective expert in the field would ask us is, what are you looking at? What would you like us to audit? I'm not sure that we're entirely clear on that, and it'd be helpful for us to have clarity on that moving forward. That would be my ask.
That was, you stole my thunder.
Sorry.
No, that's good. In terms of being efficient tonight, I would ask that if the board could get Mr. Coney and I, if you send me an email of what goals you would have for this curriculum audit, what you'd be specifically wanting us to look for, if you can get that to me by perhaps next Friday, that might help us get launched with building the RFP, as Mr. Coney said, and the rubric. And so if you need more time, we can certainly understand that. And if I don't get anything from you, I'll send a reminder email, but perhaps a week's enough time. If you can do it sooner, that's great too. But if you just email me that, and I'll share it with Mr. Coney as well, and vice versa.
So we're being asked to send that by April 22nd to Mr. Miller, please.
Is that realistic and of a timeline? Okay,
So are we,
I was going to ask that question.
sorry.
so as a board, we are to formulate the goals we would like to send to Mr. Miller. So what does that?
I think
entail?
in this case, let's send Mr. Miller our individual thoughts. He can collate that and then we can have a board discussion about it. I think that'll be maybe our most efficient way of going about it.
So if we email him separately, we will come together as a board before we decide what those
Sure.
goals are.
Absolutely.
And there's things I know that Keith and I would like to look for as well. So it won't just be
Yes.
board specific.
With the audit currently, that was just currently done, with the audit in the future, will they still audit the math and English?
They can, certainly.
Okay, so that can be included in the audit.
Can be whatever we want it to be.
Okay.
Yep, we can build it.
And who hired Hamilton County ESC?
I did. That was my recommendation. Yeah.
Is that the one that Brad Lovell works for?
Is that,
No.
he works
No.
at Sycamore Schools
Practice
now?
boards for Sycamore Schools.
Oh, does he not work for the Hamilton?
Not any longer.
No, he hasn't for. Well,
Thank you for clarifying.
no problem.
Is there anything else from Mr. Miller or Mr. Coney?
Not
Isaac?
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coney. Matt, anything
Nope,
else
that
under
was it.
superintendent update?
That was it. Thank you.
All right, we are at new business.
Madam President, I have new business.
Right.
Okay, I would just like to, so I attended the meeting with the OHSAA last week and can report to all concerned that transgender activism is hitting Ohio in full force right now. What I witnessed in that meeting was nothing short of an indoctrination camp into diversity, equity, and all the essential components of critical race theory, including transgender athletes competing in girls' competitive sports. To all parents and community members that find this unacceptable and repulsive, it is time to start speaking out. This board voted in February to continue Lakota's relationship with this organization. I abstained from voting at the time because I knew this meeting was coming up and that there was no rush because a decision did not need to be made until June. I am displeased with my fellow board members for making a decision without thorough investigation into the OHSAA current activities and for making an uninformed vote by not proceeding with caution before voting on something that will dramatically affect the coaches, students, and most importantly, the female athletes of Lakota and their scholarships. Because the board has already voted on this issue, I do not know what can be done currently. However, any individuals or groups that are planning on pushing back against this, please let me know and I will help.
Is that all, Mrs. Bodie?
I have new business as well.
Okay. Mr. Miller, do you have any response to that?
No, there's no vote coming up from OHSAA right now. I would agree with you in some regards that I have concerns about sports and being on an even playing field, but I think that's a bigger conversation, not one for tonight. But there's no policy change. There's no vote coming up from OHSAA. So I could take a mute point right now.
Can I clarify something on that? I saw something that said in May that they will be voting the school athletic coaches. Maybe you can help me clarify, Isaac, that the coaches in each school will be voting on whether or not to agree to the policy of transgender athletes competing in sports.
That would be news to me, but I'm not saying you're wrong. That's news to me. So we can check that out, but
Okay.
I'm not a coach, but yeah.
Why don't we get some clarification and have
I
a,
think if that was coming up for a vote, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying if that were coming up for a vote, especially in May, I think that would probably be all over the news.
so would you like to get some clarification?
Yep, I'll get some
Thank you.
clarification.
All right. Mr. D.
And I think, Mr. Miller, that is why I suggested that maybe next meeting, we have a full report on what the findings are. Who knows, by then we may have some more information.
Sure.
Because a lot of people are interested in that.
Right.
So we will put that on our next agenda. Right? Thank you. I said we'll put it on our next agenda. Thank you. Mrs. Schaefer, you said you had something.
I do. I recently attended a conference and I attended a session on the 7 habits of highly effective school boards. And so I actually asked Adam to put up some slides that were shared at the meeting that I thought might be helpful. So this is just some of the framework of what they talked about that were effective, that the more effective a school board can be, the more effective the performance of our students can be. If you want to go ahead and flip to the next one, everyone's able to read, so I'm not going to read directly. But I thought orderly meetings, majority of time spent on student achievement, listening respectfully and attentively, members not advancing single agendas, good working relations with the governance team, members sharing time and focus and act on policy issues. So I thought that was certainly good objectives to have. And then there was one more slide with just a couple other thoughts of what effective board members can do that I wanted to share with the board. And I will certainly commit to these ideals, and I hope that we can work together towards the 7 habits of highly effective boards.
This is a great book, by the way, if anyone would like to borrow it. It's a great book. Is there any other new business, board? No? Very well. We'll move to board action items. I am going to take these separately. So I'll take a motion to approve the second read of the board policies from our last agenda. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Casper.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer. Any discussion?
Are these the Neola? Yeah. Neola updates. Yep.
With no discussion, we'll take a motion or take a vote.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. I'll take a motion to adopt the resolution to end COVID protocols. This was read into the minutes in the last meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? The chair will second. Discussion?
I just have 4 quick bullet points. Voting for this resolution does not in any way impede the school district from court mandates or requirements associated with state and federal laws. It does not remove Lakota's pandemic policy 8420.01 that was in place prior to March 2020. Voting for this resolution does not add additional liability and does not affect our insurance. Voting for this policy only removes the COVID policies that were put in place over the last 2 years that are contradictory and convoluted, and above all, do not acknowledge the enormous amount of research from historically credible institutions that illuminate the dangers involved with vaccines, lockdowns, quarantines, and the regular use of masks. Information that is critical for parents as they make decisions about their children in the district as it makes future decisions on policy. I urge my colleagues to critique this document on a factual basis with the same intention and diligence I have given the policies brought by other board members and the administration.
Board discussion?
Is this the same policy that we've already voted no on?
No, it was updated. I read it last week.
Yes,
So
it was materially, it's the same policy.
Okay. I guess my concern comes in is that I don't believe that any of the 4 of us, unless I don't want to speak for everyone, it's the same policy. It says the same thing that we've already voted no. And every week we put it back on the agenda, and every week we have the same discussion, and every week the results are the same. And at the expense of trying to be efficient in our meetings, I guess I don't understand what we could do to make things different.
Well, I think we update it, or I update it with different language, and I think it's extremely important to keep bringing up. We can't ignore.
We're not ignoring it. We
Excuse
just
me,
don't.
one at a time.
We're not ignoring it. The board has made their decision. I don't think anyone's ignoring it. We had a discussion, a lengthy discussion, and we took a vote.
I think you're just ignoring the data that's really concerning about the damage to our children.
I don't think I'm ignoring the data. I am looking at
Again,
it.
If you were,
again, one at a time,
if you were
please.
observing, if you were reading it and looking at the data, then you would be as concerned as I am about the liability that we are placing on the school board.
Let me suggest, Mrs. Logan, what are the options available to us?
So are you asking how, clarify exactly what you're, you're asking, Kelly? Sorry.
I'm asking.
One at a time, please.
I'm asking if is there some way to, I have read the data, by the way, I just don't agree with the data. I have read other data that you disagree with, and I think that's the problem. It's a case that we're going to agree to disagree, but once we take the vote, that's the vote. So I guess I'm asking, is there anything that can be done to not have to have this discussion every single board meeting?
So
because no
Have to
one's
let her
changing.
finish.
Sorry.
Call to vote.
There's a question to Mrs. Logan.
So in my mind, you have two options. Number one, you could table the item. If you table the item, then you would have to bring it off the table to discuss it again. Or you could postpone indefinitely. If you postpone indefinitely, it could be brought up again at a future meeting. But if you table it, then you would have to bring it off the table in order to
For
discuss
it
it
to be
again.
discussed.
I believe if you table it, though, you're tabling it till the end of the meeting, and then it is brought back up to vote on.
Are you
Correct.
saying lay
So
it on
that-
the table, Mrs.
So you
Logan?
would lay it on the table at the next meeting, then you would deal with either bringing it off the table. If you do not take it off the table, then it dies.
So is there a motion to lay this on the table?
I would move to
So
lay it
to
on the
take care
table.
of
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there further discussion?
I think I have a little discussion on this. My understanding of ending COVID protocol is the pandemic was declared by the government, and there are institutions that are managing the pandemic. So I know some state governors have already pulled this COVID protocol off from their state. But in our state, it has not been pulled, has it? Has the governor said,
No, I don't
or
believe so.
maybe legislation said we're ending COVID?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So I don't think if we end COVID protocol, say maybe by fall, we start having issues of COVID, what are we going to fall back on? Or the state Department of Health?
So, Mr. D, what you're discussing is the original resolution. You're not discussing the motion to lay it on the table?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is why I think we should lay it on the table, and I second.
All right. We do a vote on lay it on the table and then,
Add one thing to the discussion, please.
yes,
Under policy 123, our code of ethics, under P, it says that we can express our personal opinions, but once the board has acted, accept the will of the majority, and that is our own policy. So therefore, I also support laying this on the table.
I would also remind you that the bylaws, these policies are not law.
they are the way that the board sets the direction and governance for the district. And they are the board's responsibility.
But you're not breaking a law.
I don't think anyone's saying you're breaking the law, but
Making
we
sure.
need to be setting the example for following our own policies too. And so I would also agree with laying it on the table.
So that means we have to vote again for it next school board meeting.
What it means is that once this is laid on the table, the board will need to take it off the table in order for it to be discussed further. So
By tabling a motion, the discussion of the motion is set aside to be considered later in the meeting or at another time.
you're out of order, ma'am. What it means is that at the next meeting, it will be on the agenda. The board will have the opportunity to make a decision, make a motion to pull it off the table for further discussion or for a vote. If the board does not choose to do that, my understanding is the resolution dies there. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Is everybody clear on this? Because I want to be sure that we're all understand what we're doing. Yes?
Yes.
Mrs. Logan, anything further you need to tell us about this?
No.
Okay. Then let's call for a vote. I have a motion and a second to lay this resolution to end COVID protocols on the table. I have a first and a second from Mrs. Casper and Mr. Adine without further discussion. Mrs. Logan, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
No.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. Thank you. We'll move to treasurer's recommendations, number 12, action items. Approving the minutes of March 28th, 2022, and B, approving the monthly financial reports for the month ending March 31st, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Adi. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry. I don't know who that
Second was me.
Mrs. Schaefer. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie?
I did not, so regarding policy 2210, I did not vote to adopt the proposed policy edition 2210 that reads as follows. An individual board member's request to view classroom specific materials should be submitted through the superintendent and should not be unduly onerous. I made this very clear by my comments in the policy change at the last meeting, as well as stating in the meeting and sending an email shortly after to our president, Linda, letting her know that I am not voting yes to adopt the policy change. No policy should be adopted on what was obviously an erroneous vote. I request that this be corrected. So how do we do that? Furthermore, this board has no business, especially at a time like we are in right now, restricting any individual board member's ability to see assignments taught by teachers in the school in order to see what is being taught firsthand, to be able to observe and understand what the learning experience is for our children and what the culture is in this district. This cannot be done with the kind of restrictive terms that are laid out in this policy change. I made that very clear last month at a board meeting.
It's part of the discussion. It's appropriate that she asked the question. We're approving the minutes.
The minutes.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're disagreeing with the minutes. So would you like that to be voted on separately? We can separate those out.
Well, we need to I sent you an email earlier of what the proposition is, what you could say.
Right, and emails are not official board business, but so would you like to separate that out before we have further discussion on A?
I mean,
it's okay to do that. If you think you might vote differently, it's okay to do that.
Or you're talking about separating A and B.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, we're going to take a separate vote. And I will take Mr. Adi and Mrs. Schaefer's first and second for approving the minutes, if that works for them. Mrs. Logan, can you speak to the minutes from the last meeting?
Sure. So
my recollection is that we did do a motion to revote and that motion failed. Is that correct?
So we had 3 policies that were voted on. The first one was there was an amendment to the amendment, which both failed, but the policy itself did pass. That was on the public participation at board meetings. Then we moved to the curriculum policy, which didn't have any amendments. In what happened at the meeting was you did vote yes on the policy, but then right after that, you said, what did we just vote on? I want to change my vote You called for a motion to revote on it. There was not a second, and that's reflected in the minutes. And so that's how the minutes, that's what the minutes reflect.
So-
If you're asking if you would like, you still believe that you want to change your vote on something, you do have an option to rescind a motion. You could always vote to rescind. You could make a motion to rescind a motion from a previous meeting. That's always an option. But during that meeting, the minutes reflect the vote that was taken.
So if you listen to what was said, I went back and listened to it. And what I said was, I didn't know what we were voting on. It was clearly not stated by the president what we were voting on. They just said, we have a motion on the floor and a second and a second. So there was no clarification on what we were voting on. Many were confused, including the community. And then within that,
Please,
I said many.
please do not speak with
Regarding
the audience
22,
and
and then I
please be
sent to
respectful.
Linda today, just trying to clarify what's going on. It said, regarding 2210, I understand that the fix is fairly straightforward. If you state, because of confusion around the vote, a vote was cast in error, which it was. Board member Bodie was clearly not in favor of the policy change, given her own motion leading up to the vote. Therefore, I make a motion to correct her vote from yes to no, and that would fix this situation.
I don't believe that's allowable.
No, once a vote is taken, even if it's in error, then you'd have to either reconsider, which is basically what you did during that meeting, reconsider that vote. There wasn't a second to reconsider it. So then after that meeting's over, if you want to go back and redo that vote, you'd need to rescind that motion.
So are you prepared to try to make this vote stick on a gotcha? Because I don't think that's how this is going to work.
Mrs. Logan, can I ask a question? My understanding is that the approval of the minutes, I mean, what happened at the meeting happened at the meeting, and those are the minutes. So we would have to approve the minutes, and then if Mrs. Bodie wants to rescind a motion or do a new motion, that's a whole different thing,
Yep.
correct?
Right.
But the minutes say that I voted on something that I did not vote on.
You
I
did
voted
vote
on,
on.
no, I didn't. I
did.
voted on something else. It was not clear by the president
Folks,
we
please.
were voting on. There was confusion. And I thought we were voting on the removal of the policy addition and an individual board member requests to view classroom material.
Let me ask, just for clarification's sake, Mrs. Schaefer, Mrs. Casper, Mr. Adi, did you understand what we were voting on?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to suggest this, that we go ahead and either approve or disapprove the minutes. Should you desire to make a motion that Mrs. Logan has suggested, you're welcome to do that. And let's move on. We're going to stick with our agenda tonight. So I'm going to take us back to our approval for A, minutes of March 28, 2022. I have a first from Mr. Adi, a second from Mrs. Schaefer. Without further discussion, Mrs. Logan?
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
No.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. I'll go to B, approval for monthly financial reports for the month ending March 31st, 2022. Again, because we separated that out, we have another first and second.
Moved. Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer and Mrs. Casper. Discussion. With no discussion, please call the roll.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. The motion passes. Thank you. Is there anything further? All right, we'll move to superintendent recommendations, action items. A, approve personnel items, B, approve field trips, and C, approve donations. Take a second, or I'm sorry, a first and a second. So moved. Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Adine. Is there discussion? Mr. Miller, any comments?
No, pretty much boilerplate this month.
I just want to express our regret, as we already have, that Mrs. Logan is on our resignation list this evening. So that is part of what we're voting to accept her will. So I guess we can't keep her
I'd
beyond her
like to
will.
separate that out.
So
We're going to separate out the treasurer's resignation.
we're not going to let her. We're
leave.
not accepting that.
We're not accepting it.
But I just hold her hostage.
Okay, quite honestly, this is kind of funny because I asked the attorney, do we really have to accept this? We don't want to.
So I just wanted to acknowledge that.
So it is with great regret that I will ask you to call the roll.
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. We move to our second portion of public comment. And again, I must ask you, we have 20 people signed up for a limited time. I must ask you to please be very careful to stay within your 30 minutes so that we can get as many people as possible. Oh, good. 30 minutes altogether. It's been a long night already, folks. 30 minutes
Thank goodness we're
altogether.
efficient this time.
Maybe a little too efficient. I don't know. 3 minutes each. Please stay within your 3 minutes and hold the applause. That just slows us down. So we will start with Mrs. Luagi. Mrs. Cameron will be up. And because we have so many, I'm going to put a couple up at a time. Mr. McCall, you'll follow Mrs. Cameron. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know I could have had 30 minutes.
I'm going to regret saying that, I'm sure.
My name is Alyssa Luigi. I have been a parent of Lakota students for over 12 years now, as well as being an active Lakota volunteer, community member, and a proud Lakota graduate. It's been many years since I have addressed the board at a board meeting, and as I generally prefer to address things outside of this meeting. However, as most of you experienced members of the board would probably attest, I have never been one who is afraid to speak up on things. I want to share that over the past decade plus, I have only ever had one instance where I didn't feel a Lakota staff member was really listening to and seeking to understand my concern. And that person has left the district many years ago. I talked to my children's teachers about things happening in their classes, building principals about things that at building levels, and central office staff about things happening district-wide. I haven't left every conversation in agreement on an issue or situation, but I have always felt like Lakota staff at all levels listen to and seek to understand my viewpoint. I also specifically appreciate the district level efforts to provide communication opportunities between the community and the district, from community conversations to in the loop with the soup to the Lakota Listens button on the website, and how these opportunities have increased during Mr. Miller's tenure with the district. I would like to encourage the Lakota staff to keep doing what I have seen you all doing over the past 12 years, listening to and engaging with parents who bring concerns to you, educating students the best ways you know how, even when we as parents don't fully understand your methods, and meeting the needs of all Lakota students. Thank you to all our Lakota staff, teachers, and administration for listening to parents and students with open minds and hearts. I support you all, and I support Lakota schools.
Thank you, Mrs. Logie. Mrs. Cameron is up. Mr. McCall is next. Mrs. Jones would like to speak again. Would it be okay if I have the other people speak first and then if there's time? Okay. Okay, thank you.
I'd let you speak all day.
I gotta watch her, just gotta watch her. Rodney Coates will be up next then.
Hello, my name is Heather Cameron. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board this evening. I believe it is important for community members to be able to voice their opinions and concerns. For this reason, I would like to ask the board to address the recent petition to censure a board member. Last I checked, this petition had been signed by nearly 1,500 community members, and I am one of them. Those of us who have signed this petition feel that behavior matters, professionalism matters, and one's ability to work as a team matters. I also wanted to inquire about why a state representative candidate was allowed to address the audience during the public comment portion of the last meeting. This violates one of the board's public comment rules and would not have been tolerated previously. What changed? I also want to express my gratitude to Matt and Jenny. You guys are amazing. All of our staff, I'm continually impressed with you guys and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cameron. Mr. McCall. Mr. Coates is up next and KK Beloy. Go ahead, Mr. McCall.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin McCall. God, there's so much to say and so little time to say.
3 minutes.
But exactly. I look out and I see a lot of people that care. Yet I've also seen a lot of barriers being created since the beginning of this year that do not give greater priority to the efforts and awards that recognize the great work by Lakota administration, teachers, and the environments that they create for our students. Like the years past, the spotlight should be more focused on that great work and the efforts for them rather than any actions from these bi-weekly meetings. Rather than focus on shadows and ghosts, there's so much more that deserves our focus and our attention. The Lakota Master Plan, which I will say every single time I'm here, the honors and efforts of all the students and staff that do the work. From my view and the Ohio Code, the board's job, if we compare the board's role to that of building a building, I want you to approve the appropriate budget for the people who are building that building. I want you to support the people that construct the building. I want you to collaborate in deciding who runs the project and give them the power to hire the people that do the work and clear obstacles for all those experts and project professionals who have been doing the job and empower them to do it. It is the same as board business. I do not want you to build the building. I don't want you to do the roofing, the plumbing. I don't want you to supervise every single employee or contractor on that job every single day. I don't want you to draw the architectural drawings or review every single one. I want you to allow the project manager and the project superintendent to do the job that they're supposed to be doing. Yet in the last few board meetings of this year, the job of the board has been bogged down by inefficiency. And going over the same items over and over again is not efficient. Like many in this room, we've all attended meetings, whether it be here or in our businesses and our work. And in my career, I get annoyed by inefficiency. So I'd like to see some of that change. It feels that there's a move to chasing shadows and ghosts. Frankly, if we continue to chase ghosts or shadows, then we'll get exactly what we're looking for, nothing. But we've wasted a lot of time doing it because ghosts do not exist. The focus needs to be on the good things that are happening in the district while addressing the things that we can impact. And finally, I'll address leaving the district. Frankly, I'm getting nervous. Nervous as a property owner in this district for the last 8 years. Nervous as a parent of kids in this district for the last 8 years. Nervous as a community member of this district in the last 8 years. There are a number of people we know that were planning to move into this district and have asked me, and I know it's subjective data, but have asked me and my family, what is going on with your board? That are no longer planning on moving into the district, that were going to be my neighbors. And that frustrates me. My wife and I, my family want to stay in this district, but it's not because of the past actions. It's not because of whatever people think it is. It's because of the actions of this potential things that are happening in this board that we may be afraid of what the actions could create for my kids in this district. So with that in mind, it degrades what we should be focusing on. And to a point, when it comes to references to any law, just because there's a
Mr.
law,
McCall, would you please wrap up?
just because it's there doesn't mean you should do something or shouldn't do something. Do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. Jessica Taylor and Denise B. will be up after you, sir. Mr. Coates, please go ahead.
Not Jessica. First of all,
So, will you pull the mic toward you, please?
it's always good to see a former student who just stood before you. My name is Rodney Coates. I'm a professor for 32 years at Miami University. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served 4 years in the Army. I've won just about every major award that Miami provides. I'm the College of Arts and Science Distinguished Professor. I'm a Distinguished Professor at the university. I recently won the MAC Award, Mid-Atlantic Conference Award for Professor. I've won awards from the American Sociological Association. By the way, as I tell my students, I'm Googleable. Okay? If you want to know what I do, Google me. I'm currently working on my new book. I would like to share a few lines from it. During the insane war, an unknown pregnant woman and their baby was killed as massive bombing destroyed the maternity ward where she and other expectant mothers were being treated. They joined thousands who have died, millions who have been displaced in what can only be called the egomaniacal desires of an autocrat. As a paranoid dictator, Vladimir Putin joins not only his predecessor, Stalin, but also people like Hitler, Idi Amin, Papa Doc, Ferdinand Marcos. Putin exhibits the nihilistic indifference consequences of his actions. The reality is that this insane war was been premeditated, deliberately, and conceived. He is committing genocide. By the way, if I were in Russia, I would now be on my way to jail for 10 plus years if I did not disappear. Thank God I'm in America. By the way, that's chapter 4 of my book, Critical Race and the Search for Truth. I find it strange that many people that talk about CRT have no clue what CRT is about. They have read absolutely nothing about it. They're searching in search of a boogeyman. I am that boogeyman. And I challenge anyone that challenges my right to speak the truth. I served in the Army, I served in Vietnam. Many of those who have complaints about CRT have only served in their backyard. I put my life on the line so that I could study the truth. And the truth indeed will set you free. And we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we're all endowed by Creator with certain inalienable rights. And one of those rights is the truth. Thank you.
Mr. Coates, thank you for your service, sir. KK Baloi is up next. Jessica Taylor follows. Denise B. Kim McKinney and Lonnie Tucker will be after that.
My name is KK Beloy, and I am the president of the Lakota East Black Student Union. I'm also part of other clubs, but BSU is what I'll be referring to today. According to Statista.com, the high school dropout rate for African American females is 41% and 52% for African American males. In fact, Black students have the lowest graduation rate of any racial or ethnic group. Another statistic shows that Black children are 6 times more likely to be shot to death by a police officer before the age of 18. Now, I guess you're wondering, why am I listing such volatile statistics that, in all honesty, threaten our current impressions of the American education system? Believe me, it has nothing to do with the system itself, but everything to do with the current Black or African American students who are a victim of these volatile statistics. The Lakota East Black Student Union is now recognized under the National Black Student Union Organization as a chapter member. And though the leadership comes with many privileges such as funding and access to resources, graduates who are a part of the organization also receive graduation stoles and quartz for their membership. I'm here to ask the Lakota East School Board to consider allowing BSU graduating members and officers who are part of the class of 2022 to wear these stoles at graduation. I know many issues arise with this proposal, that students shouldn't simply be given a stole based on a single factor such as race. And to that, I would refer back to those statistics. This honor is set to recognize academic achievement, service, leadership for African American students who have beaten the odds. There are many clubs at Lakota East, however, BSU is the only club that is ethnic based. In an effort of being direct, I am not asking that we are given this honor simply based on the color of our skin. In fact, I believe we deserve this honor because regardless of the color of our skin, the generational traumas, racial disparities, and the odds or volatile statistics that have been stacked up against African American students, we were able to form a club that recognized these issues and created solutions, raised funds, spread awareness, and created a culture of racial unity within East that encouraged students of all colors to interact with each other with respect, empathy, and understanding. And we're simply asking that we can celebrate these achievements on the day of graduation. I was told that I was holding back, and in all honesty, I was. I was afraid of being identified as yet another angry Black woman, an identity that can be quite damaging to someone in my position. But I'm not afraid anymore. In fact, I'll be even more direct. The Lakota East Black Student Union is not just a club, that can be used to promote the school's cultural change, to promote the school's cultural diversity on welcome posters and pamphlets. If the school can recognize the cultural change that we create as a club alone, it can also recognize how much it took for us to get there, that we as Black students have to work twice as hard to get half as far, and that is if we live to get there. I'm only asking that the school recognizes this and allows us to have something that not only celebrates our achievements, but also serves as a symbol of our perseverance despite the odds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Mrs. Taylor is up next, and I'm going to ask Denise B. to go ahead and line up, please, if you would, just so we can get more people through. Mrs. McKinney, Mr. Tucker, and Kate Bredestead will be after that. So if you'd go ahead and line up now, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Taylor, and I am a senior, and I go to Lakota East High School. Today, I wanted to address the lack of diversity here at Lakota. In my 9 years of being in this school district, I can count on my hand how many Black educators I have seen during my time here. Growing up in a predominantly white area, I wish I had more Black educators and Black staff members around me who look like me. Having people of color who would work here in this district would help motivate younger and older kids, and it would also help kids like me be able to relate to educators that look like us. If we were to hire more people of color, it would expose students to different cultural backgrounds, and it would help limit stereotypes and racial bias. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Denise B. is up next. Is she still here? Okay, thank you. Mrs. McKinney is up. Mr. Tucker is following that. Mr. Bredestead and Jen Richardson.
So good evening. My name is Kim McKinney, and I thank you for this opportunity to address the continued support of children and their individual learning needs. Successful education opportunities rest on relationships developed within the school culture and climate. I am a parent of 2 Lakota graduates, and I understand and appreciate the value of learning respect for fellow students, educators, and administrators. Respect and emotional intelligence are skills needed for successful employment, higher education, and citizen contribution. Diversity, equity, and inclusion fuel the we in We Are Lakota. My hope is Lakota continues to offer opportunities to lead, learn, and display this skill set.
Thank you, Mrs. McKinney. Mr. Tucker is up, Mrs. Bredestead, Mrs. Richardson, and then Mrs. Erdl.
First of all, good evening. My name is Lonnie Tucker. I've been in this district for over 18 years, coming as a transplant out of New Jersey, engaged in law enforcement and education. All I ask this evening, without being redundant, is that this board opens up its ears and listen to the voices of the community. It is crucial that we work together. I've heard again, over and over again, diversity, equity, inclusion. I think we have forgotten about the last 10 years. 10 years have gone by and we're back full circle again. And we are allowing people to make decisions outside of our community. We have to stop. We have to take a stronger stance. We have to be the persons to lead. And how does that happen? You've heard the voices of the people. Please just think about it and listen. To our superintendent, thank you, because you're truly an innovator. I will truly miss our treasurer because we bumped heads on day 1, and after that, it was beautiful. And I really honestly appreciate it. And to our board, some of you I had the honor of working with and still working with. We got to continue this fight. We cannot allow, again, outsiders to influence how we deal with our students, our families, our communities. So all I can tell you is buck up, get ready, roll your sleeve up, and let's keep on going down this road. And thank you for the opportunity to address the board.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Mrs. Redistich? Could we stop the applause? It is slowing us down. We have a lot of people still to get through, and I'd really like to give them the opportunity to speak. So we'll just assume that you're liking everything everybody's saying, okay? Mrs. Redistich, you're up next. Mrs. Richardson, Mrs. Floyd. There's a Josette and a Leah Floyd. If you'll come ahead and get in line, please. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Kate Bredestegi. Firstly, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Secondly, congratulations again to Mr. Miller and Jenny Logan. You're very well deserved on your respective awards. And thank you so much again for all you do for our students and this district. I would also like to voice support and thanks to Lakota Cares and the district for the communication boards that were put in place recently. That is a wonderful addition. I have two children on the autism spectrum, both of which who have struggled with communication, and the PEC system has been invaluable to them. And I know that Maureen Mal was previously speaking on putting more of that into our schools, and I would like to add a voice of support to that initiative. I would like to also request that the board as an entire cohesive group make a statement, as several districts in this state have already done, in opposition to House Bill 616, the so-called Don't Say Gay bill in the state of Ohio. This bill is hateful and damaging to students and families in our districts. The LGBTQ community is the Lakota community. They are members of Butler County and of the Lakota School District. They are your neighbors. This bill is divisive and teaches our children that some families do not matter as much as other families, and that they cannot speak about their own families in class. Some families will not have a voice. Trans children are not repulsive. What is repulsive is speaking in this manner about the students and children in your district. I would also like to say that discussions on diversity, equity, and inclusion, to add to what we have been overwhelmingly talking about tonight, are not brainwashing, are not indoctrination. It's necessary. Diversity are our neighbors, our community. Acknowledging that they have different experiences is acknowledging them, who they are as people and their experiences, and what we can learn from that. Why is the truth something to be afraid of? Critical thinking is part of learning, part of education. Learning about experiences that our neighbors and community have make us a stronger district and stronger community. And I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bredestegi. Mrs. Richardson is up next. Josette Floyd, Leah Floyd, if you'll go ahead and come forward. Are they still here? Okay, Mrs. Renita Beeman, still here? I can't.
Declined.
Suzanne Ruck. Cheryl Dudley.
Can we do this one and then we'll.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so Jennifer Richardson, I just wanted to congratulate Mr. Miller and Mrs. Logan. And everyone already said what I was going to say. So just thank you for making our school district so amazing. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Richardson. So again, the Floyds have left. Mrs. Beeman declined, Suzanne Ruck, and Cheryl Dudley. All right. I will, Mrs. Yasmin Brown Jones, Dr. Vanessa Enoch, and Dr. Cynthia Hines. Did you want to speak again?
We actually filled out both sheets, just making sure we got the opportunity.
You were covering all the bases, so that's okay.
I believe we missed Mrs. Erdl.
Mrs. Earl was declining to speak. Did you want to speak? Absolutely.
Good evening, Christy Erdl. I just want to take a moment to, again, thank you guys. I understand that you guys are in very difficult seats right now. And I just want to encourage you that there's a lot of people talking at you, but there's also a lot of people in the community that don't have the opportunity to come to these meetings. There's a lot of people that are not, they're not loudspeakers. They're not going to get up in front of the microphone and, raise their voice. So I come to to you guys tonight, just to remind you of those families. In this community, yes, diversity is very, very important, right? And there is a solution in that. However, we have to be very, very careful that we're not dividing our children into groups based upon diversity, right? These children, they are children and they learn, they are educated together. And at the end of the day, it's amazing having conversations with my 7th grader about what she's learning with her classmates. And it's so unfortunate to me to come to these board meetings and see so much division and so much hostility towards one another, when at the end of the day, our kids are not feeling it. They're not feeling it. And I just want to encourage you guys. I know there's a lot of people yelling and they want you to be the solution to all of this, but the reality is we're the solution as the parents. And I had the opportunity recently to sit down with another parent in the district who happens to see the world very differently than how I see the world. But I will tell you, it was a great conversation. And I think from a social media standpoint, there is so much hostility towards board members and community members. And I just want to say we can do better. We are not setting the example for our children. And at the end of the day, I will continue to bring it up at meetings. The individuals, and yes, we know who they are behind the Lakota Lowdown website, we can do better. Our district can do better. We as a community and human beings can do better. So if we want to talk about tolerance and inclusion, let's practice that. Let's put that into practice. So I'm just raising that as a challenge to the community. We might see things differently, but again, I do appreciate the fact that you guys are sitting in that seat, and I acknowledge that it's not an easy seat to sit in. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Erdl. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak that had signed up that I didn't call? Okay, all right. Thank you all for sticking with your time limits. We really appreciate it. We were able to get through our list tonight for everyone. You know, we did have a significantly long list, so I'm not going to try to summarize all of the comments. I will say that I believe, and I think the board would agree with me, that there's concern and care on all sides here. And you wouldn't come to a board meeting, you wouldn't sit through what we've had some very long ones recently. You wouldn't sit through those board meetings if you weren't concerned about the overall well-being of our students. So thank you for that. Thank you for the diversity in your opinions. We kind of went across all spectrums here. And we appreciate what you're saying. So thank you for that. Mr. Miller, did you have anything?
I just want to address 2 quick items. I think they came from our students. The first one was KK in regards to the cords and stoles at graduation. I'll talk to Mr. Burnside and Mr. Brown for what that process is. I'm sorry, I don't know what that process is for the addition of that, but I do know that this is the second group I've heard from this week that has an interest. So we'll see what that process is and follow that out. And then I believe Ms. Taylor, in terms of the lack of diversity in Black educators at Lakota, that's not something that we've heard for the first time. And it's something that is definitely on my radar and on our radar as a district, and also goes to speak of the lack of educators across the country that are going into public ed now. So,
Mr. Miller.
It's problematic.
You, Mr. Miller.
And I think that's, I agree with you. Everything else, I think, I just wanted to hit those 2 things.
Thank you.
Sure.
In the spirit of diversity, can we add cords for families who have veterans, people who have disabilities, as well as the other ethnicities that are included in our school district?
Again, I'm not sure what the process is that has been set forth by our high schools in terms of cord, but I'll talk to Mr. Burnside and Mr. Brown about that.
I think that's a good question. It's always a question this time of year, and it'd be nice if we resolved it before we get to graduation so that we're fair and across the
Consistent.
board on all of those issues.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Board, it's time for closing comments. We stayed on agenda. I'm really proud of you. Would anyone like to start tonight?
I will go.
Mrs. Bodie.
With regard to the issue involved in defining critical race theory, I must say that it is absurd to think that we have a superintendent who refuses to define a program he says does not exist in our schools. It is not acceptable, and it is suspect on its face. Mr. Miller is the go-to person in this district for that type of question, and I will not be apologizing for my reactions to Mr. Mr. Miller's dismissive responses to my requests. In addition, I will not be apologizing for being transparent about the obstacles associated with honoring my campaign pledge. This district was just sued over issues of transparency. At this time, the question of whether racism is being taught and instituted in our schools looks to go far beyond transparency. If the answer to this question is not vigorously and honestly pursued by this board, not only do I understand that the district and the board will end up in court, but the individual board members who may very well be held personally liable. This is not me making some kind of threat. I'm only going on what is already taking place elsewhere in the country. The stakes regarding these issues around critical race theory could not be higher. And I also want to encourage the community members who say that we should do some of our own education. I would refer that statement back to you as well, and do your own research as well on the topics that you are supporting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bodie. Mrs. Schaefer, would you like to follow that?
Again, when the objective of questions becomes how can we have a getcha moment, I understand people's resistance to wanting to answer them. I think that this has become so polarized, but it feels like the reason the questions sometimes are being asked is to find a way to retaliate against somebody, and I don't support those efforts. I would just like to congratulate Jenny on her award. I think, to me, the best statement that was made are good books and records are a team sport. And I know that that is how you look at things, and you don't like the individual accolades, but leadership matters as well. So congratulations to you on that award. Same with you, Matt, getting the 2022 Empowered Digital Superintendent of the Year. There are many superintendents in this country, and we certainly recognize and appreciate what a transformational job you have done in leading us and making sure our students are prepared. Our host of students, I think, were a great reflection of that. We talk about teaching, reading, writing, and math, but when we look at the portrait of a graduate that was developed with our business partner, as we stated earlier, it's those soft skills that are really life skills that are going to be transformational and what kids are going to remember. When I was in school, we didn't have the internet, which my kids don't think is possible, but we had to memorize things. Now they can look things up on the phone. So making sure that our kids have those life skills is what is so critically important. So I appreciate that those efforts are being made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer. Mrs. Casper?
I think I will just reiterate congratulations to Matt and Jenny. We're super, super proud of you both. Jenny, we will miss you terribly. As you know, we may sit up here and cry for the first few meetings you're gone, but we do appreciate everything you've done. And again, I love the student spotlight. I don't think that, I mean, I can't speak for all of you, but I was not that eloquent at the microphone as a 10th grader.
I'm not now.
I mean, it's just amazing to me that they are just they can just speak so eloquently. So again, those kind of programs really hit home with me and show what we can do for these students to get them, like Mrs. Bodie said earlier, a leg up before they get into college. And I think that we're doing great things in this district with that.
Mr. Miller?
Skipping?
No, I'm just doing a different semi.
Oh, no. I appreciate all the feedback we continue to receive from our community on all sides of the issues. And just a reminder that you can send us emails too, and don't have to wait till a board meeting to be heard. And as always, I'll offer up to the entire board. If you'd like to meet with me individually on any issues you have, I continue to offer that up. I know I meet with several of you. We have one-on-ones every single month. Mrs. Casper, I think ours is tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So again, I continue to offer that up to the entire board as I have in other communications. So thank you. And Jenny, I am very happy for you. And I know that this is what you wanted to do. And so I support you in that, and we will not be the same. So thank you.
Mrs. Logan?
Thank you. And congrats to Matt. I'm trying to take count of all of the awards you have gotten since you've been here, but there are many, 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 and I know you hate that every time I bring it up, but I'm just honored to sit beside you. And I appreciate the approval of my resignation for retirement purposes.
We have not yet.
We're going to rescind that policy.
No, it is definitely bittersweet, but I'm not gone until August 1. And so I'll still be around and still working right up until then. So just want to reflect back to the students. Wow, every time they're so impressive. But I think, the parents, students, our staff, the leadership, the board who encourages all the programs. I mean, it's a team effort, and to see the students come in and we're just able to be part of it. I really am. I'm proud of our students and proud to be a part of it. So.
Thank you, Mrs. Logan. Mr. D.
Okay. I'm so excited that tonight we had spotlight on students. The students are the reason why we're here. Parents, board members, teachers, everybody is the students. I was so proud to see them come out to tell us what they have achieved. And as we celebrate our students, we should also remember there are teachers that teach them and other staff that support them. We are here for you, for everybody, 17,000 students in this school district. We are here for you. We're doing everything possible to make it, to make you proud and to succeed. There's one comment that was made here regarding one of the graduates of this school district who is running for office. I think it's something we need to celebrate as well, whether we like his platform or not. He came here and said he is a proud graduate of this school district and he's running for office. I think we should also celebrate that. Mr. Miller, Ms. Logan, thank you so much. Within this short time that I work with you all, I know what I came in with, and I'm still trying to find out everything that I need to know, but I've been working with both of you. Mr. Miller, I know I have a lot of sleepless nights. I'll send you texts, you respond to me. I've had a lot of people come to me with issues, and I've sent them over to you, and you've been responding. I think what we need to do is, right now, I think we have a divided community. We need to come together. Let's work together, and if anybody has anything, and either of you is not responding to that or is not meeting that need, then we can come out and lay our complaints. But I believe that if we work together, I have 3 kids that graduated from this school district. I know the impact strong education can have on children, especially children of color. My children are very, very proud Americans, and they're very, very successful. So I believe that we can do better. Let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adi. So final comments. I know you've all been itching to clap again tonight, so let's clap for our 2 leaders over here one more time. And thank you for honoring that when we tried to get through our meeting. This was a much more effective meeting and productive meeting. So thank you for being part of that in a positive way. As everyone has said, celebrating our students, and we do that all year long in our board meetings, but we're about to go into a season of celebrating our students with final band concerts and athletics and everything else that we do. And by the end of the day, when we're standing on a stage for graduation, it's really hard not to watch those kids come down the aisle with tears in your eyes, because that's the ultimate accomplishment. And millions of dollars in scholarships as they head on to other other pathways forward. So this is that time of year. You may see us a little weepy up here because we do get a little sappy about it. It's all good. So I hope that you come out to see some of those as well. Thank you all for being out tonight. I know we had staff, we had students, we had members of our community that haven't seen you before, and we're happy to have you. Thank you for your interest and for caring about our students. And finally, I just want to go back to, there were a lot of comments about our board. As I addressed at the front of it, we are learning to work together as a board, and sometimes that learning curve in a new job takes a little longer than others. But I have great faith in the entire team up here. And I appreciate the diversity of thought that this team brings together. And I want you to please continue to grant us grace as we work together to form a more effective board. And we will get there. It's guaranteed we will get there. We've heard your concerns and we're working on them. So I just want to say thank you to the team, to each and every one. I am blessed by each of you and I appreciate you. So on the last word, that was kind of fun. All right. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Mrs. Schaefer. Thank you, Mr. Adi. Mrs. Logan?
Mrs. Schaefer,
Yes.
Mr. Adi,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Mrs. Bodie,
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connor.
Yes. Thank you and good night.